What's the story, amigos? This is Kino with some cool stories for today's story time.
In our first story, Kino finds out how a lie can be like a monster.
Is that you sitting on my stomach, Lie? That hurts. Get off! Get off!
Vicki Juditz introduces us to a very perfect little girl.
Jezebel told other children not to do things because it was nice being perfect.
And in our last story, read by Alaina Reed Hall, Malusi gets a surprise from his grandmother.
Malusi pressed his nose against the shop window for a last look. Come along, Songololo, called Goga.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bain, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television.
I'm so glad you're here for our story time, Kino. But, you are a little bit late.
Well, I know, but never fear. Kino is here. Master rollerblader and famous lion tamer.
Lion tamer?
Yep. That's why I was late. You see, they called me to the zoo to help with Leo the lion.
Why?
Well, Leo had a toothache, and he wouldn't eat because of the pain. So I convinced him to open his mouth wide for the dentist.
Oh, Kino, I never know when you're pulling my leg or not.
Well, maybe I was just dreaming, huh? You know, Mara, some of my friends were asking me if I could read a story for story time. Would that be all right with you?
Oh, that's great. And you know what? I think I have just the book for you.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Well, since you're always telling me such fantastic stories, which I usually find very hard to believe, here's a book to make us think.
Well, thank you very much. A big, fat, enormous lie? Wait a minute. Are you suggesting that what I told you about Leo the lion is not true?
Well, there's nothing wrong with using your imagination to make up stories, Kino.
There isn't?
Well, no, on the contrary. It's called fiction. And that's what people who write stories do all the time. But you know, the problem comes when you expect other people to believe the stories as if they were true.
Oh, so you mean fiction is make-believe?
That's right. And Marjorie Weinman Charlotte made up this story and she wrote it down. But it's not a lie. It's just make-believe.
Oh. Okay. Well, a make-believe story, then. A big, fat, enormous lie. The pictures are by David McPhail. Let's see. I told a lie. A big, fat, enormous, gigantic lie. Father asked me if I ate a jar of cookies. I said no. But I did. I told a lie. I could have told the truth. I could have said, I ate the cookies. But my father would have gotten mad. And my mother would have gotten mad. And my sister. Now, I'm sorry I ate them. And I'm sorry I lied. And now, I'm stuck with my lie. I could talk to it, maybe. Lie? Go away. Scram! I'll give you a dime if you never come back. It's still here. I like these pictures.
Yeah.
Pictures are great. Look, Lie, I don't want you, and I don't like you. And I can't see you, so maybe you don't exist. You don't exist, Lie. You are nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So why are you still here? I can't see you, but I know you're getting bigger and bigger. You are enormous, Lie. You are enormous and gigantic, and you are a big fat. You have a mushy head and a runny nose and a bulging stomach. You are ugly, Lie, and dumb. You are the dumbest. I bet you can't spell your own name. Just try it. L-Y-L-I-L-I-I-L-Y-Y-Y. All wrong. You are L-I-E, and you're dumb. And I'm too smart for you. So how did I get stuck with you? Couldn't you go bother somebody else? Somebody really mean and rotten? Not a nice kid like me. Is that you sitting on my stomach, Lie? That hurts. Get off! Get off! Okay, Lie. I give up. Father, Mother, I lied to you. I know who ate the cookies. Someone I like very much ate the cookies. He sort of ate one, and then he sort of ate another, and then he sort of ate another. He sort of ate all the cookies in the jar. Yes, I sort of ate them. Me, your son. Are you going to do anything about it, Father? Mother? Oh, you two will discuss it? Okay. Okay. My lie has gone. Maybe it left to bother somebody else. Maybe it's halfway around the world by now. Maybe it's swimming in the ocean or marooned on a beach, waiting to be rescued. Look, the lie's getting smaller and smaller. Maybe it's lost in a big city or a forest, wishing it hadn't left a nice kid like me. But it won't come back to me. I don't have it anymore. And that's the absolute and total truth.
Kino, boy, you did a wonderful job. You are really a good reader.
Why, thank you very much. It's one of my many talents. You know, I'm always making things up. Does that mean that I'm lying?
Well, no. Only if you try to fool other people so that they will think it's the truth.
Oh, well, so there's nothing wrong with making something up. As long as I tell people I made it up, then it's not a lie?
That's right.
Whew. Boy, I'm relieved. Hey, how about another story? Was anybody else coming over to read today?
Oh, yes. Vicki said she would come by, and Alaina's going to come by later, too.
Oh, good. Because I brought a book that I really like about a girl who's so perfect she would never tell a lie, just like me. And I told all my friends to show up at about this time. There they are now.
Let's go.
Great. Who wants your story?
Hey.
Me, you, Jasmine. Come on in. Oh, here we are. I told you it wasn't far. Got here fast. Hi, Mara. Everybody say hi to Mara. Hi, Mara.
Hi.
And hi, Kino. Hi, Kino.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Vicki. And thank you all for coming by to see us today. You know what? Kino brought a book about a little girl that is so perfect. She does everything right. Her name is Super Duper Jezebel. I was wondering, would you read it, Vicki?
Yes, please. Will you read us the book, Vicki?
I would love to.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Ooh, the story is called Super Duper Jezebel. And it was written by Tony Ross. And Tony also did all these wonderful, wonderful pictures for us. Here she is. Jezebel was perfect in every way. She was so perfect, she was called Super Duper Jezebel. When other children came out of school, they were sometimes untidy. But Jezebel was always super duper neat. Jezebel always kept her room tidy. She always put her things back in their boxes, and she cleaned up after the cat. Ew. When she went out to play with her friends, Jezebel always kept clean. She still liked to have 2 baths every day. She always wrote her thank you letters in neat writing without being reminded. And at school, she was best at everything. When she had spots, she always took her medicine and even said thank you. She could do up buttons and tie real bows on her lace-ups. She always ate up all her meals. She always put her knife and fork together. And she never picked her nose. She would tell other children, if you do that, you'll get a long, fat nose like a carrot. I have a pretty nose. Jezebel told other children not to do things because it was nice being perfect. She would say, sucking your thumb will make your teeth stick out. I never do that, and I have super teeth. And the dentist would say, super duper. When the president heard about Jezebel, he sent a special medal for being good. And a special statue of Jezebel was put up in the park to remind everybody else to try to be perfect. She even went on television in a special show to talk about herself and her medal and the cups that she won for being polite, being spotless, being helpful, being best at sums and best at poetry and reading and writing. At school, super duper Jezebel wouldn't do anything wrong, like the other noisy children who weren't perfect. And one of the kids one day said, come on, Jezebel. And she said, you mustn't run. It's against the rules. Always walk nicely. If you run, your socks will come down. One of the kids yelled out, a crocodile has escaped from the zoo. And along came the crocodile and went, look what's sticking out of his mouth. And the zookeeper said, you naughty boy, you have eaten up the best girl in the world. And the crocodile thought, I've tasted better. So, that's the end of our story. Did you like this story?
Yeah, I'm just laughing because it's funny.
It was funny, so it made you laugh, and that made it a good story. I think Christina thought it was funny, too.
Wow, well, that was a good story.
Kino, have you ever seen a crocodile?
Well, just on television.
Oh.
I never met one in person.
Well, you know, Kino, Jezebel does sound like your type of girl. Yeah. I think you two would have gotten along very nicely.
No way. No way. I'm with the crocodile. Jezebel sounds like she'd be sort of a real pain to be around, you know? I mean, always telling you what to do. Plus, I may not be perfect, but I'm special. Yeah, I'm special. At least that's what my grandma says, that I'm special.
Well, you know, I think everybody is special to their grandmother, even if they aren't perfect.
But you know, they do make you clean your ears. And my ears are, well, they are less than perfect. Oh, hey, Mara.
Yes?
Did you read me a story once about a grandmother named Go-Go? Huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Where is that book? Oh, here it is. Ha-ha, yes. Here it is.
Yeah, there it is. That's it.
And here comes Alaina.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Alaina.
Everybody looks so pretty today.
Oh, Alaina, will you please read us this story?
Well, only if you say please.
Please.
Okay, great. I'd love to. Oh, this is wonderful. This story is called Not So Fast Songololo. It's from South Africa. And it's about a boy named Malusi and his grandmother and the very special day that they had together. Do you have special days with your grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah, you do? I had special days with my grandmother. My grandmother raised me. She did. Her name was Willie Ruth. Willie Ruth. Sounds like a little boy's name, huh? Well, this story was written and illustrated by Nikki Daly. That means the pictures, all the pictures that you see are by Nikki Daly and all the words. Let's open it up and see. Not so fast, Songololo. Here we go. Does everybody see? What a lot of noise. Yazutzi, the baby, was crying. Adelaide was shouting, Monji, Monji, give me back my ballpoint pen. And Mama was calling, Malusi, hurry up now. Come on, Malusi. Next door, Mr. Motiki's dog was barking at someone coming up the road. Now, Malusi liked to do things slowly. He sang a little after he pulled on his T-shirt. And then he played a little, and then he put on his shoes, his tackies. That's what they call shoes in South Africa, tackies. They were very old tackies. When they were new, they had belonged to Monji. But now there were holes in them, and they belonged to Malusi. Mr. Motiki's dog was still barking at someone coming up the road. Doesn't that look like what he's doing? Only an old person would walk so slowly. She walked a little, then she stopped to lean on her stick for a while. Mr. Motiki's dog had stopped barking. Instead, his tail was wagging. It was okay. It was Gogo, Malusi's old granny, coming up the road. Gogo was old, but her face shone like new school shoes. Her hands were large, and they were used to hard work, but they were also very gentle. She rested her hands on Malusi's shoulders and said, I need someone to help me today. I must do my shopping in the city. Shoo! Those mad cars and the traffic lights, they mix me up. They mix me up, said Gogo. Mama replied, okay, Malusi will go with you. He's a big boy now. Malusi liked doing things slowly, so he walked a little, and then he stopped and kicked an old beer can. Twing! The can danced down the street. Gogo walked slowly behind him. Hi! Hi! Sighed Gogo. She was out of breath by the time they'd reached the bus stop. The beer can lay still in the hot street. When the bus came, it squashed the can flat. That made Malusi laugh. Stop laughing and help me onto the bus, scolded Gogo. Malusi didn't know what to do. Push or pull his old Gogo. She saw the worried look on his face and laughed. Hold me stick. I'm too old to kick a can down the street, but I can still climb into the bus. The bus was full. Standing room only. Malusi stayed close to Gogo. She was wearing her best dress. He counted the colors in the pattern. Red, green, pink, blue, yellow, and orange. The bus stopped and some of the people climbed out. Now Malusi and Gogo could sit down next to the window. Look, said Gogo. Look at all those mad cars. Malusi knew all about cars. He could tell Gogo the names of all of them. Volkswagen, Morris, Ford. Gogo thought he was very clever as he played his car game all the way into the city. Shoo, said Gogo, so many people. Everyone was walking quickly. Malusi walked ahead of Gogo. Then he stopped and waited for her. She looked older in the city, he thought. Sometimes, while he was waiting for her, he looked at all the things in the big shop windows. There was a toy shop, and in the window, there was a toy Volkswagen. Can anybody find the toy Volkswagen? You see it? There it is. Very good. There was a shoe shop next. Tackies. Malusi looked down at his old tackies, and then he looked at the shoes in the window. They were bright red with stripes down the side. "What are you looking at?" asked Gogo when she caught up at last. "Look, Gogo," said Malusi, "bright red tackies." Gogo looked at the new tackies, and then she looked at Malusi's old shoes, and she clicked her tongue. Now they had to cross the busy road to reach OK Bazaars. "There are so many traffic lights," shouted Malusi. Gogo looked worried, so Malusi took her hand and led her slowly over the crossing. Just before they reached the other side, the green light disappeared. "Hi, hi!" shouted Gogo. "Those traffic lights, they mix me up." It was a big store, and Gogo looked at her shopping list. She had to buy some groceries, a plastic tablecloth, a mug, and a bottle to keep beans in. Everything cost a great deal. Gogo kept her money in a little bag pinned to the inside of her sleeve. There, it was always safe. Soon, it was time to cross the busy road again. The light was green, so over they went. They passed the flower seller and the clothes shop. Here was the shoe shop with the bright red tackies, looking so clean and new. Malusi pressed his nose against the shop window for a last look. "Come along, Songololo," called Gogo. It was her special name for her grandson. But instead of passing by the shoe shop, Gogo went straight into it. Malusi looked at Gogo's old shoes. They were like worn-out tires on an old car. "How much are those red tackies in the window?" asked Gogo. The man told her. "Will you see if they will fit the boy?" asked Gogo. Malusi took off his old tackies and slowly fitted his feet into the new ones. "They fit him very well," he said. Malusi felt so happy that it hurt him to just sit still. He looked at Gogo and gave her a big smile. "Shh," said Gogo, as she took out her money. 1, 2, 3, 4, she counted. "You can keep on your new tackies," Gogo told Malusi. So he put his old ones into the new shoebox. Malusi walked along so proudly. "Not so fast, Songololo," called out Gogo. Boy, he's really going there.
Yes, leaving her behind.
Ooh. At the bus terminal, Gogo sat down to rest. Malusi sat next to her with his feet up on the bench so that he could look at his new tackies. "You know, Gogo," Malusi said softly, "these are very nice red tackies." Ooh, they are pretty, aren't they? Gogo looked down at her own old shoes and said, "Yes, maybe if I had me red tackies and with white stripes, I would also walk as fast as you." Malusi looked at Gogo, and then they both laughed. Isn't that nice?
That's a great story.
Oh, what a wonderful day they had together. You have wonderful days with your grandmothers?
Yes.
Yeah? So what is your grandmother's name?
Joan.
Grandma Joan? Do you call her Grandma Joan?
Yeah. No. I don't call her. I only call her my grandmother.
Oh, you just call her grandmother. There are a lot of names for grandmas, like Grandma, Granny, Nanny. Oh, I used to have wonderful times with my grandma. She taught me how to cook. Did your grandmother take time with you in the kitchen and teach you how to cook?
I saw her bake cookies before, but I don't remember.
But you don't remember how to do it?
We worked together. I'll ask her. Bake cupcakes.
Cupcakes? What kind did you make?
Just regular.
Just regular cupcakes?
Yeah.
Did you put icing on them?
Yeah.
And did you decorate them with hundreds of thousands and sprinkles and all that kind of stuff? You should do that sometime. That's lots of fun. And you can really get the kitchen all messy. That's lots of fun.
Yeah.
I used to watch my grandmother cook. She taught me how to cook. I used to watch her every Saturday night. She would make apple pie. And I learned how to make apple pies, and I learned how to make cakes. Oh. And then I learned how to make little cupcakes.
Yum!
Yum!
How does this sound like it to you, Kino?
You know, my grandmother reads books to me, and she lets me pick my favorite favorites.
Oh, speaking about favorites, it's time for us to show our friends at home our list of favorites.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What'd you bring, Kino?
Well, I brought this one right here. It is one of my favorite favorites. It's about a boy having a rough day, and get this, it's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
Boy, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I brought this book, and it's called Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters.
I heard that.
Have you? Well, this is just like the story about Songololo, because it's also from Africa. Well, you know what? I'd like to thank all of you who are here and all of you at home for coming today. And you're all especially invited to come again to share stories with Kino and me, okay?
Aw, do we have to go?
Oh, yes, we do. But you know what? You can come back anytime you'd like to listen to more stories.
Yeah.
Until then, keep a story in your heart.
Salani, pals.
Salani?
Yeah, that's Zulu for goodbye. Zulu's an African language.
Salani!
Pretty good, huh?
Oh,
Salani.
we learned something today.
Today's Storytime books are A Big Fat Enormous Lie by Marjorie Wyman Charmant, illustrated by David McPhail. Super Duper Jezebel by Tony Ross. Not So Fast Songololo, written and illustrated by Nikki Daly. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Bjorst, illustrated by Ray Cruz. And Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters by John Steptoe. You can find these and other books at your local library.
Major funding for Storytime is made possible by a grant from Helen and Peter Bain, so that families everywhere can share the joy of reading with their children. Additional funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television. Storytime is a production of KCET Los Angeles.